Some other changes. I know I mentioned a few before. There was one other one I want to get your opinion on, and this is another one. When I'm polling, I'm the official poll master of D2R on my channel. for a minute there, I was polling for all the changes that people would like, because I was, man, I can't believe I can't be the only one that wants these changes or doesn't want this stuff changed. And it turned out for a lot of stuff I was way off. I'm in like the 10% minority, and everyone likes all this stuff that I was like thinking. But anyways, extra stash tabs, or there's a few different ways you could go with this, whether it's extra stash tabs, whether it's either just a currency page. I'm just not a big fan of having like, oh, I got to make another mule because I don't want to get rid of this, or like,
I've said this since the beginning. Like Blizzard is idiots. Like they're absolutely idiots. They're letting money just slip through their fingers. Like, like imagine, if you will, like
charging $10 for 3 more stash tabs or something.
Well, imagine you got a beach or whatever. Maybe you own the beach, right? And it's really hot, and like, somebody offers to put a drink machine on your beach, and they'll give you like 50% of all the profits, and it's just like Cokes and Pepsis and stuff like that, right? And you're like, nah, I don't need any extra money. Like stash tabs are such a no-brainer thing that don't really affect the overall like aspect of the game. Like nobody's going to complain about having more stash space.
Mm-hmm.
And like all they would have to do is sell them. Like they could literally make so much money off of them. I don't know how much they would charge for them. Maybe $5 a tab, or maybe some games do like a increasing amount like per tab. So like maybe your first tab only costs like 50 cents, and then like your second one costs like $1.50, and then like if you want like your 10th tab ends up being like $10 or something. Like they charge you for your greed, basically. The more tabs you want, the more they charge you.
Yeah, that is a good point. I personally, obviously, I would like them for free, but yeah, I totally get your thing. Like, how could they pass up that opportunity, right? And the number of people that have been, man, I would give them. I mean, the people are exaggerating. I'd give them so much money for 3 more stash tabs and stuff like that. I bet you if they did it like $10, like $10 for 3 stash tabs or something like that.
Oh, they'd give millions of dollars.
Almost everybody would do it
instantly. They're literally like, by not doing it. That's what I'm saying. By not doing it, they're literally just throwing millions of dollars in the trash they could have had already. And then the currency tab too. I feel like the currency tab could be really cool. I feel like that also addresses the stash tab problem. And I actually remember back in one of the dev talks. I don't know if you remember this, but there was this dev talk. They were talking about like all the things. I'm pretty sure Mr. Llama was there. It was like the one where Mr. Llama was at the.
Okay,
he was like hosting it or whatever.
It's one of the early ones.
And he asked them about a currency tab, and the one of the developers, I can't remember which one it was. He specifically said, it would always be either or, not both. He basically made it very clear that if they did add more stash tabs, or if they did add a currency tab, it would be one or the other, but they wouldn't do both of them, which was interesting to me, because then that made me think, okay, well, which one do you guys want? Like, there's a poll for you right there.
That means
like,
you got to be leaning towards one of them. If you only want one of them, like, there's got to be a reason that they wouldn't want both of them, right?
Well, I definitely feel like the currency tab would be the better option, because the gems take up a whole tab on their own. The runes take up a whole tab on their own for me. I don't know about you. But like, and then at the same time, I'd like to be able to hold on to like the chips for running like the different recipes, like to upgrade the gems.
There's another thing I should have got into in a second. Actually, another change. We'll talk about it in a second. Keep going. I'll bring it up in a minute.
But yeah, I mean, you get what I'm saying though, right? Like, if having the ability to store everything on a currency tab would alleviate so much space on its own, like ridiculous amounts of space, because you'd no longer have to have that rune tab, your gem tab. You could finally keep on to hang on to the chippies and the floods and whatnot.
That is kind of annoying that they require you to have flawed emeralds and whatnot, but then you don't have anywhere to really not enough room, in my opinion, to store them.
Then the same thing for the keys, like the keys for running Uber Tristram and whatnot like that. Like, that is just like insane. Like, when you really start collecting those keys, like if you want to do like a whole bunch of runs in a row, it takes up so much space. Like, you literally will fill up a whole mule, and then you'll fill up your shared stash tabs, and then before you've got like 100 keys, and you're just like, can we please convert some of these into organs? Like, please, I need some space.
Yeah, that is true. I feel like, I don't know specifically with the currency tab, but I think maybe they were talking. I think someone asked them about rune and gem stacking. And I know the reason they didn't want to do that is because it opened them up for like people duping 50 Baroons at a time. Like if you stacked 50 Baroons. And I wonder for a stash tab if that could be a similar situation. Someone could find an exploit to like, oh, their currency tab, they have 20 Baroons sitting on it, and they find some exploit to like go in and edit the number of Baroons it says they have, and then they could take all the Baroons out.
Take them out like a slot machine.
Yeah.
I mean, in that case, then you'd be leaning more toward the stash tabs, because it's more of the same, right? It's just another tab, nothing special.
Yeah. It would just be, instead of creating Mule 102 and putting stuff in on its tab, you would just have a random stash tab instead of, and it wouldn't even take up more room on their servers, because it's not like you're creating a character. Instead of that, you just have the stash tab with the items on it anyways. Like, so it wouldn't really be anything besides, like, I feel like a professional programmer too could make extra stash tabs in a day, right?
Probably.